Students, let's take a look at a case. In 2007, the 8.13 extraordinarily serious collapse accident of Dishe Tojiang Bridge in Fenghuang County, Hunan Province, caused 22 injuries and 64 deaths. Direct economic losses are 39.747 million Chinese yuan. The investigation team determined that this was a production safety liability accident caused by quality, and the results showed that there was no problem with the original design scheme. The direct reason for the collapse was that the masonry materials of the main arc ring did not meet the standard and design requirements. One of the reasons is that the silt content of manufactured sand is high, with a maximum value of 16.8%, far exceeding the requirement of not more than 5%. The silt content of crushed stone is 2.6%, exceeding the standard of not more than 2%. What is the silt content mentioned in the case? Is there any adverse effect on the concrete? Today, let's learn the concept and test methods of silt content, clay lump content, and rock powder content in fine aggregate. Silt content refers to the ratio of the total content of dust, silt, and clay with particle size less than 0.075 millimeters to dry mass. Rock powder content refers to the ratio of the total content of rock powder with particle size less than 0.075 millimeters in artificial stand to dry mass. Please note that the rock powder content is an indicator of manufactured sand. The soil will increase water absorption, hinder the bonding between aggregate and cement or asphalt, easily cause dry shrinkage and moisture expansion, and affect the overall strength and durability of the mixture. Methods for determining the silt content: sieving and washing method and methylene blue method. The sieving and washing method is to soak the dried aggregate sample in water for 2 hours. Pour muddy water into 1.18 millimeters and 0.075 millimeters sieve sets to wash out 0.075 millimeters particles. Then measure the proportion of content of particles smaller than 0.075 millimeters in the mass of dried aggregate. The proportion is the silt content. However, the content of smaller than 0.075 millimeters particles obtained by the sieving and washing method contains not only soil, but also rock powder. So it is impossible to distinguish the content of soil from that of rock powder. In this case, the methylene blue value is required to distinguish. The methylene blue value calculation is as follows. Take 200 grams of dry particles less than 2.36 millimeters, add 500 milliliters distilled water, and stir them into suspension with a stirrer. Add 5 milliliters methylene blue solution into the suspension, and dip a drop of suspension on the filter paper with a glass rod. If there is no blue color halo in the suspension, continue to add 5 milliliters methylene blue solution and stir for 1 minute. And repeat this until the color halo lasts for 5 minutes before the test can be ended. The methylene blue value is equal to the number of milliliters of methylene blue consumed divided by the total test volume and then multiplied by 10. The smaller the MB value of methylene blue is, the less clay content of the particles smaller than 0.075 millimeters, that is, the rock powder with the same chemical composition as the country rock. The clay lump content calculation is as follows. 200 grams of dried particles larger than 1.18 millimeters are soaked in water for 24 hours. And then, the sample is cleaned on a 0.6 millimeters sieve mesh. The proportion of the content of particles smaller than 0.6 millimeters to the total test amount is determined as the clay lump content. Summary 1. Both silt content and rock powder content refer to the proportion of particles smaller than 0.075 millimeters in the total test amount. The difference lies in that the rock powder content is for artificial sand. 2. For the method of determining silt content, the sieving and washing method cannot distinguish between silt and rock powder contents, and the methylene blue value can reflect the soil content. 3. The clay lump content is different from the particle size of silt content. Students, please think about whether you will consult the national standards for silt content, methylene blue value, clay lump content of sand, and crushed stones. For the 8.13 extraordinarily serious collapse accident of Dishe Tuizhang Bridge in Fenghuang County, Hunan Province, we must learn from the painful experience and lessons, attach importance to the requirements of technical standards, and guide the construction and testing of the project in strict accordance with the standards. That's all for this class. Thank you.